All right, lifecycle management. So let's jump back into the next set of demos. All right, so this particular demo, we're going to step through the lifecycle management for Red Hat OpenShift. All right, so what we've done, because you need support portal access to be able to check for online updates if you want to update from the internet. So you can see configuring the support access is just a matter of configuring your username and password. Once you've done that, it'll be able to go out to the Dell support site and check for available updates. There aren't any at this time, so we're going to use the local update process. We're going to grab this update bundle. So it's a collection of files. We're then going to upload those files. Of course, this has been sped up because nobody likes to watch a progress bar.
Is it 100x faster?
There are different points of this sped up at different rates. So, but the idea is once the bundles are uploaded, we're going to decompress them and go through validation, make sure everything's good. Next is the pre-check process. Right, so what we're going to do is check the cluster health to make sure that the cluster is in a state where we even want to attempt to update it. Right, if something's wrong, we're not going to proceed with the update until it's remediated. Right, so we've passed all the pre-check. Now we're doing the review. So it's gone through, it's identified all of the versions of the appropriate software that's on the cluster and telling us what's going to be updated within this particular update bundle. So you can see there's the Cloud Foundation software and OpenShift are going to be updated during this process. So now we're kicking off the update. You can tell it's telling you how much time it's expecting that update to take. And then it's giving you detail as it runs through that update process. So what are we doing here? We are updating all of the hardware, so BIOS, firmware, drivers. We're updating the OpenShift software, which includes the underlying core OS. We're updating the CSI, and we're updating the Apex Cloud Platform Foundation software. All of that's being done in a single update workflow, right? We can get this done a lot faster because it's done as a single workflow. We can control the sequencing of how that update takes place, right? That means we can do things like firmware updates. We can stage to all of the nodes in parallel, then move on. And once the OpenShift update goes through its process and reboots the node, those updates will apply to those nodes as part of that reboot process, right? So we can do things in the most efficient way possible to reduce the amount of time it takes and the amount of reboots you're going to have to go through for the cluster. So that was OpenShift. Now we're going to go into Azure. So in this particular case, going to do the same thing. We're going to configure support account. Again, just a username and password. All right, so you can see that that support portal access has been enabled. Now we can see that on the dashboard that there's one update available. So if we go back to updates, you'll see that there's an update available now. This view is going to show you both Microsoft and Dell updates. Right, so you'll be able to see all of this in a single view, and you'll be able to apply them together. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and apply the update. It's going to run through a very similar process where it's going to do an analysis of everything that's on the system, that compliance check. And this is a very extensive list, right? It's all of the individual components. As you can see, it's checking a long list of items within each of those nodes to make sure everything is exactly the way it should be. As a result of that, it's then going to say, Right here, all right, so we've run the pre-check now where it's checking the health of the cluster. So everything is healthy. We're okay to continue. So we'll do next. Now you're going to get this warning. Servers in lockdown mode will temporarily, we're going to remove that lockdown mode during the update and automatically turn it back on afterwards. I had mentioned that this is a mechanism that protects the iDRAC and BIOS certain changes. So we need to disable that during the update process, but once we're done, we're going to automatically turn it back on. Right, and again, it's going to go through and update the cluster. We'll show in a moment here. This is actually going through, similar to the way the other one was, it's doing a rolling update. So one node at a time. It's going to put the node in maintenance mode, which will drain all the roles from it, update the node, bring it back up, back in, move on to the next node in the cluster. So across the Apex Cloud Platform family, those updates are non-disruptive, right? And you can see the list of everything that it did as part of that process.